What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys had yourselves a great week. Getting ready for the Memorial Weekend, and I'm bringing you guys a fun little video that I thought about probably like the week before, just before Andor season 2 series had wrapped up. So we're gonna do two different videos. This first one, we are gonna but put all 12 of the Star Wars live action movies. Well, technically the live action movies plus the animated Clone Wars movies, because that technically counts as a movie. So we're gonna put that into a tier list as well. And then another video I'll do down the line, or probably the next couple of days, is putting the Star Wars live action series, or just Star Wars series in general, like TV show stuff like that, into a tier list as well. I thought about this the other day because the reason was finishing up Andor, like Andor overall, and think about Rogue One and things like that. I was like, you know what? Because I mentioned that Rogue One and Andor have now solidified themselves as, like, to me, top 5 Star Wars movies. I know everybody, or Star Wars projects. Now I know everybody doesn't like Andor. I know everybody doesn't like Rogue One. That's fine. That's their business. I don't really care. But I figured I would just do like a fun little video where I kind of like put my tier list in. So let's jump into it. If you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure you comment below. Tell me where you would put these movies. You can also go over to the gaming channel, think out all things gaming. But other than that, let us jump into it. I think it's this one. All right, so should be right. 3, 6, 9, 12. Oh no, okay, I did have them. I had them. Funny enough, when I first put this together and about to hit record, I realized I left off the sequel trilogy of Star Wars movies. A lot of people will be fine with that, but for this, we are just going to be sure to have it all. Oh, bring that down a little bit. All right. Okay. So, we'll start with this. We'll start with the 2000, I believe it was 2007, 2008. I believe it was 2008 Star Wars animated The Clone Wars series that came to theaters. Now, this was because of this movie, we got the 7-season series of Star Wars The Clone Wars, which originally premiered, I believe it was like every Friday on Cartoon Network. And believe me, I was there almost every single Friday to watch it, unless something came up and then I had to like put a tape into the VCR to record it or something like that. Or I think we had DVR back then. I can't remember if we did or not. But every Friday I was at home, if it wasn't a football game or something like that, watching the newest episode of the Star Wars The Clone Wars. I loved every bit of it. Then kind of went into a hiatus. They released some finished episodes. I believe the season 6. They kind of like took some stuff I believe they had already drafted and put it into the show, and then ultimately Disney greenlit a limited season 7 series that just kind of gave us like different arcs in that show. And so, but mainly the movie, the movie itself. Back then, the movie, like the animation, was not as good as what we see later on down the line, and you kind of see it too in the beginning of the first couple of seasons of the Clone Wars, where the animation is it's not there yet. It's not good. It's just it's not good. It's not good. Well, this is also where we got into the Ahsoka Tano thing and how people felt about that. But I think I would probably put it like, I don't like, to me, I don't think it's bad. Like I do, but I haven't watched it in a while. I think it was like on YouTube, like just streaming randomly the other week. I think I'll put it in D. Like you really, it's like the animation is just hard to get over, and I know it's like their first time doing it with that style. Maybe not their first time. Maybe they've done it before. It was still something other, but that animation style wasn't that great, and I didn't really care for it. But I mean, I still enjoyed the movie. Like if it was on, I'll probably watch it. So next up, we have let's do this. Let's do the Solo movie. The thing about the Solo movie was the movie suffered from bad marketing from Disney. Like I don't think you heard really anything in regards to this movie being pushed into the theaters until like the last like month or so. Well, kind of like what you're seeing now with Ironheart on Disney Plus, basically was the same way for the most part with the Han Solo movie. You just didn't really hear about it. And then I thought the movie was fine. I actually there were some aspects about the movie I did like. I was fine with the actor playing Han Solo. Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian, I thought it was an excellent choice. You had the Naomi Scott as Kira in it. Thought she was okay. Millennium Falcon looked good, and so it was okay. It just suffered from bad marketing. Um, and I do feel bad for the people behind it because I don't think that's fair. Because like, and also the other issue is I'm trying to remember it came out. Um, I'm trying to remember it came out after either after Avengers Infinity War or Endgame, and just before Deadpool 2. I think that let me see. Uh let's see. Oh, that's not the heck. All right, so 2018. That okay, okay. So 28. Okay, so let's see. 2018. All right. Let's see. I wonder if it gives me like the actual. Okay, we could just go here. We could just go here. All right. So it was June. So let's go to start here. I'm pretty sure it was April. The Avenger movie came out first, so that was probably April when that came out. Okay, so okay, yeah. Avengers Infinity War came out in April. And then oh no, it came out in May. So Avengers Infinity War came out in April. Deadpool 2 came out in May, and then the Solo movie actually came out uh in June and in May as well. But even then, its issue was it also had to. So it had two pretty interesting, pretty good, I guess, depending on what you define as good, pretty good movies in Avengers: Infinity War and Deadpool 2 coming out before it, and it looks like coming out after it was both Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom and Incredibles 2. So it was already in a no-win situation, being where it was placed. So but needless to say, I'm gonna probably put it. I'm gonna put it in the C tier because again, I was okay with this movie. I just think personally it just suffered from bad marketing, and just not a lot of people going out and to see it because of it. Now, by this time of 2018, we've already had, I believe, two. We had Rogue One, Force Awakens, I want to maybe say Last Jedi. I think Last Jedi had already came out at by this point, so we've already had about 3 different Star Wars movies up to this point, and then maybe maybe the Mandalorian was just coming out as well. So, but I think C, like me putting the Clone Wars movie in D doesn't mean it's a bad film. It's just it's not as I don't view it highly as some of the other ones, and so I think I will put it there. Let's do so. The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens. uh, you kind of see this a little bit now. You really saw it after like the Acolyte fiasco and stuff like that, where people were talking about, or people were sharing posts from when the build up to Star Wars was for Force Awakens was coming up, and that's primarily because, again, keep in mind, other than the 2008 Clone Wars movie, Star Wars had not been in theaters since what 2000 since episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. That was the last time it came out, or that last Star Wars movie in theaters. So it had been about almost 9, 10, 11 years since we had any kind of Star Wars movie in theaters. Obviously got bought by Disney. They wanted to go a different direction with the sequel trilogy, and I thought it was good. Force Awakens was good, but the focus too much on the nostalgia aspect of the original trilogy. Too many member berries to really separate itself as its own entity within the Star Wars universe, because everything you can look at in The Force Awakens is somehow pulled from the original trilogy. You've got obviously Han, Luke, and Leia, R2D2, I think C3PO's in the movie as well. You got Star Killer Base, which is just a much bigger version of the Death Star that can destroy planets. You got the First Order, which is a new version of the Empire. You got the Resistance, which is just a new version of the Rebel Alliance. There was just too much of that going on to really make it stand on its own. But for all it's worth, it was still a really good movie. People still really enjoyed it because, again, it had been a while. The build up for it was really, really crazy in that aspect. And you probably won't see anything like it again, because the way Disney has, whether you agree or not, has damaged Star Wars as a property. You probably won't ever see a big build up to something like that ever again. Unfortunate, sure, but it is what it is. So with Force Awakens, I think honestly it probably will go into the B tier for me because of the hype and anticipation of this movie, and not having anything like a Star Wars movie come out for quite some time. At least not to my knowledge. I don't think there was anything kind of Star Wars movie except for the Clone Wars movie that we know of. So I think B is a very generous, especially what that movie offered when it came to theaters and the impact it did. So I think it's very generous. Um, Obviously A tier. We're gonna go with Empire Strikes Back. Obviously, like there's not much to say. The original trilogy is good. Empire Strikes Back, the whole Luke, I am your father, and Luke find out Darth Vader's his father and all this other things. The infamous Luke and Leia kiss before they realized that they were brother and sister, which I think it was a change that George Lucas made down the line or a little bit later on, perhaps. I'm not sure. If somebody who probably has more knowledge of Star Wars probably knows more than I do about that. But obviously, Empire Strikes Back, completely amazing. This is it's number one on my list of if I had to like rank them, Empire Strikes Back's number one on my list. Like, there's no question about it whatsoever. Um, A New Hope, again, very good movie. Very much enjoyed it. I think I'm I didn't come across the original trilogy as a whole until I was a little bit older. I maybe have remember watching it being randomly on TV when I was a kid, but um, yeah, I don't necessarily fully remember everything about seeing the original trilogy. I'll go ahead and just add Return of the Jedi. Like the original trilogy is top tier. Nobody. It's not debatable. If you don't, unless you're a weird, what is it, Disney Star Wars shield as they call it. I wonder if I can find that. Let me see. I wonder if I can find that. Maybe it was Knights of Melvin. Because there was a Star Wars. Oh, sorry, that's not what I wanted. Get out of here. Discard that. What do I see? I can't spell. Come on. Let's see. Where are you at? Oh, there you are. Let me see if I can find it. Because there was a person on Twitter a while back where he ranked his Star Wars movies. I wonder if I could find it and see what he put. Exactly, because I didn't like his rankings. It was kind of like, what are you doing? I may not be able to find it since it's been a while since I last saw it. Oh, those are books. Never mind. Those are books. Those aren't movies. What am I doing? I gotta start bookmarking and stuff. That way I could be like, well, I guess I think technically at the time I didn't think much about it because I was like, eh. I didn't get into in all the Star Wars Shield or whatever you want to call it, grifter crap. I didn't get involved in all that. I sort of got involved, but that was for a specifically different reason. So a very specific different reason. Yeah, I can't find it. I'm upset. I'm upset. I promise you, if I could find it, because I swear I saw one where he had like some of the sequel trilogies higher up on his list in the original trilogy, and I was just kind of like, come on, there's no way, you're putting the sequel trilogy, any of them, ahead of the original trilogy. There's no possible way you do that. But well, some people are weird like that. So well, dang it, I can't find it. Well, but anyway, yeah, original trilogy, they're obviously A tier. That just goes without saying, to be quite honest. The Last Jedi. The problem with the sequel trilogy is that they had no plan of what they were trying to do. You had three different movies with three different directors, each one retconning each other, or it was just a very terrible thing. The Last Jedi, I like the whole episode, the whole part where I believe it's Rose and Finn. They go to this gambling planet to find this guy that can decipher this first order code. Was kind of like a total waste of space in the movie, just for him to end up being him end up betraying them. So it felt like a total waste of space in that movie. The Holdo maneuver, or Holdo maneuver, where like she did that light, the hyper speed, and kind of like split. I don't know what you want to call it, but that was really cool. I really like that kind of scene. the whole old man Luke thing was kind of, I don't really know if I really cared for that, but I don't know. It's just so Last Jedi. I definitely will probably put it. I'm trying to think if there was anything actually I liked about it. No, because even then, that's just a rehash of something from the original trilogy. Because they go to what is it to an old rebel hideout, and they just do another Battle of Hoth situation. It's just a little bit different. It's still essentially the Battle of Hoth. I mean, obviously, you get more insight on Luke trying to kill Han and Leia's kids. Still kind of a weird thing to do, but I think I'll put it in the D position or D tier because probably out of the three, it's probably like my least favorite. And that's not to say the other two are like spectacular. Even though I put Force Awakens in the B tier, it's still kind of meh. Phantom Menace. So Phantom Menace, I believe when I finally got around into Star Wars, Phantom Menace had just came out because I remember Star Wars Jedi Power Battles because I played it with my friend Jared when we were kids, and he had Star Wars action figures for days and stuff like that, and so he kind of got me into Star Wars a little bit, even though I wasn't fully knowing about it at the time. But Phantom Menace, again, the prequels get a lot of hate, and a lot of people say this like they hated the prequels when it first came out, but they kind of grown to love the prequels, and then they tried in today's they're trying. I've seen people try to equivalent that to the sequel trilogy. Oh, people hated the sequel trilogy now, but when they get older, as the years go on, they'll grow to love it. No, there's a complete difference between the two, because obviously the sequel trilogy were all Disney, the prequel were all George Lucas. And so people are going to probably have a tendency to like it a little bit more because it was George Lucas. Even then, a lot of people probably hated it back then because they're retcon stuff, and it's just I like for Phantom Menace. I loved it. I thought it was a fun movie to watch. Um, I'm trying to think of. I think B tier is probably actually a. Then there's a whole Jar Jar Binks thing, and it kind of throws it off. It kind of throws it off. Actually, I'm gonna put it in C, and that's mainly because of the Jar Jar Binks thing. And I do love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. You get Natalie Portman um, as Padme, so Jake Lloyd as young Anakin, and so it's. I think growing up, I was like all into it as a kid, but obviously as you get older, you kind of look back and kind of like, yeah, there was a lot of things I didn't like about it. But the thing of it is, like, I still love it regardless. I think it being an average Star Wars movie is completely fine with me. Attack of the Clones is another, which I like. To be quite honest, people always say about the dialogue and in this movie, yeah, it's not that great. But Attack of the Clones is where I fell in love with anything related with the clones, the Clone Wars, all that stuff. Like we do hear about it in A New Hope when Luke is like, ask Obi-Wan, you fought in the Clone Wars, that kind of thing. And obviously it was probably different compared to what we got in the prequels. Again, that's just George retconning or changing things as things go. Um, but like the best part of the movie for me is obviously Obi-Wan finding Kamino, seeing the clone army for the first time. I love Jango Fett. The whole Geonosis sequence was really, really fun. But yeah, I think again, it's just an average Star Wars movie. I don't think it's that. I think there are aspects of it that kind of weigh it down, but I don't think it reached the level of the original trilogy or even Force Awakens. So at least that's my opinion. Um, don't know, like I know people could probably say Force Awakens is average as well, but I personally like Force Awakens for some of the again it's the stupid member berries. That's what bothers me about it. But um, and later on you do learn they kind of did Finn dirty in the Force Awakens. So I guess technically I probably I'm actually gonna move that to C now. The more I think about it, because I didn't like about it was how they kept doing the promotion for this movie. It made it seem like, at least to me, I could be wrong, but to me it seemed like Finn was going to be a Jedi, and the story was going to be more focused around Finn, a stormtrooper who just turned rebellion, turned to Jedi. I thought they kind of made it seem like that was going to be the case, but no, we instead go with this whole Rey story arc, and so it kind of. So I'm actually going to move that down to C. That more I thought about it. Um, um, Rise of Skywalker. Mm, I'm gonna put it into D. Rise of Skywalker was I didn't the whole somehow Palpatine return thing I didn't really like. I really didn't like her calling herself Rey Skywalker. It's the whole it's not the family you're born into, it's the family you choose mantra or whatever you want to call it. Um um like the whole thing of like hiding of these like thousands of star destroyers. Um so I know it's short for that one for me giving an explanation. I just didn't like it as I didn't like it um compared. What's interesting as I'm like looking at this list, it makes me really want to just move the Clone Wars one to the C tier because I mean even then, like think about it, I got more enjoyment out of that one than I did The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker. Um like there is some cool aspects about the last Jedi, or I'm sorry, Rise of Skywalker. Is I do love the scene where Rey is confronting Palpatine, and you hear all these past Jedi encouraging her on, and you hear Anakin, you hear maybe Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Kanan, Ezra. I think you hear a bunch of old Jedi kind of whisper to her. Um, but even still, then I didn't really care for the movie. Rogue One. I love Rogue One. The beginning of the movie is good. The end of the movie is good. The middle is a little clunky for sure. And then there are some aspects of like you feel like Jyn Erso doesn't really get a whole lot of character development as a whole in the movie. There are aspects of it like just jumping around from different points in the movie that's kind of jarring and a little bit unnecessary. But even then, I love Rogue One. Like it finally like maybe other than Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, it kind of gave me the war part of Star Wars, and we got the whole Battle of Scarif, both on the ground and in space, were some of the best things I've seen, and I really really loved it, very much loved it. So I would definitely put that in, in the B tier of things for me in regards to that. K2SO was such a highlight of the movie. I love Baze. I love Chirrut. Um, Bodhi's another character who probably didn't get a whole lot of like character development himself, and I think that's where if the Andor series had gone maybe with if they were able to do maybe at least 3 seasons, we could have gotten Bodhi into one of those seasons and had a little bit more with him for the most part. And then also the same thing with Jyn Erso, maybe having some episodes of Jyn, uh, while Willman is with the Saw Gerrera's group, he comes across Jyn Erso, like a young Jyn, working alongside Saw Gerrera's rebel cell. So that I thought that would be an interesting thing that they could have done if we had gotten more seasons. But now, needless to say, it's fine for what it is. And lastly, Revenge of the Sith. To me, again, everybody has their own opinion. They're fine with it. They're fine with it. I love it as much as I love the original trilogy. I do, plain and simple. Like it, like I mean, everybody will say um out of the original the prequel trilogy, Revenge of the Sith is the best, obviously. Uh, it's space opera, plain and simple, and so I love all of it. I love the action, just the stakes, the weight of it all. Just watching Anakin force choke Padme, um, the creation of Darth Vader, Order 66, some of the Clone War battles that are going on. General Grievous looked amazing. There's so much about this movie that I loved watching. I don't remember if I watched this in theaters or not. I think I watched it on DVD when it came out. I think that was the first time I watched it. I played the video game, but I think the first time I watched it was on DVD. So, but man, I had a blast with this movie. It is one of my favorite. Is a one of my favorite. Now again, I'm not saying it's just well, like if to me, I enjoyed as much as the original trilogy. Is it as good as the original trilogy? You could probably say no, it's not. I will probably say no, it's probably not as good as the original trilogy. But if I'm gonna go by like off of like an entertainment standpoint, it's just as good to me as the original trilogy. So, but yeah, I like it. But all right, guys, that's relatively it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hit that like and subscribe button. Comment below. Tell me what you think. I should have another one up later on with doing the Star Wars TV series. So that was going to be a little bit more interesting for sure. But guys, you definitely want to hang out for that as well. Be sure to head over and check out the gaming channel for all things gaming. We're doing Awakening the Clone Wars mod for Star Wars Empire War, and we should be finishing up Ghost of Tsushima as well. But guys, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Yeah, have a good one.